So we've been playing around with the storage account here, but we always have to keep in the back of our mind things like monitoring and logging and metrics and alerts. So right off the overview screen, there is some basic monitoring. So we can see storage account top level metrics for the day by default, and then it's going to have data in, data out. It's going to have the response time for queries and what types of requests are coming into the storage account. Now I just created the storage account, so all we have is what we've been playing with. We obviously could break this down into quick queue queries, which we certainly were playing with, blob account queries, which we were certainly playing with as well. Okay, so it's basic monitoring at that top level. What we really want to navigate towards is log analytics. Okay, so basically a lot of this monitoring has been lifted and put into log analytics. Let's go into all services, type the word log. We're going to go into log analytics. Now we have this log analytics workspace that we've previously created. If you haven't created it, now is a good time to create it. And if we go down and look at data sources, we can see that our Azure account, the pay-as-you-go subscription, my top level account, is already connected to this workspace. And so all activities from this should already be tracked. So I'm going to go back up. I'm going to go into the logs section. I'm going to actually make some more space on screen here. Go into the logs section. And we know that the Azure activities is going to be under Azure activity table, if you will. If I run this, I can see that in the past 24 hours, there's been 77 activities against this account. What we might want to start doing is limiting this to certain things. So I can say where this tooltip pops up. I can say resource group equals, and we were operating on the AZ101 RG in my case. And now I can basically filter in those 77 activities down to only 55. Using the filters on the left, I can scroll down. I can see that create update storage account. Get the storage account keys. So every time I'm going to apply that. Every time using the Azure portal, I minimize that, yep, that I got the list of keys, it's being logged. And so if you need details on which user was getting your account keys, this would be like a tip for that. Maybe the account keys is not what we're looking for. I'm going to remove that. And we'll go back. Oh, you can't have any blank lines in here. Hit run again. The data comes back and the filters update. So now I can see other types of operations. So the creating of the storage account itself is listed here, and I can see that there's been 15 activities done on the storage account as we were playing around with it. Okay, I'm going to remove that. Hit run. And the regeneration that we did, so a couple of times we regenerated our account keys. So log analytics, because it's hooked up, got the workspace, all of my top level Azure activities have been recorded, and we can start to run queries to see what happened, who happened, why, if errors were happening. This is so far just informational information. Now, I will point out, you will see, let's open this back up, down into the data sources, you will see storage account as being one of the data sources. And you might be tempted to go, oh, I'm just going to add my storage account that I just created as a data source. The thing with this data source here is that it's looking for specific log files. In order for those log files to be any interesting to log analytics, we have to choose not just the storage account, but the data type. And so you'll see that Service Fabric events, IS logs, Linux events, Windows events, these things, it's going to look in your storage account for those contents. So if you're using your storage account as a destination for logs to be stored, then yeah, you could definitely set this up as a storage account logging event. But the top level Azure activity is what's going to monitor the comings and goings of access to that storage account. So if you do need to set up alerts, reports, etc., you're going to be based it off of the Azure activity, except if you've got accounts that are feeding logs into that storage account.